Welcome back, strange crew. You are tuned into another trip through life's deep cuts. We hope you enjoy the ride.
Keep it strange.
In 3, 2, 1, we are rolling.
Jim, welcome to the show, finally.
What's up, guys?
Here.
How's it going? Finally, huh?
I know. It seems like just yesterday we were chatting outside the Doobie Brothers show in Moncton.
To the streets.
We were in the streets.
I know. I was like,
Absolutely.
I think the plan was like, oh my God, we're starving, but nothing's open in the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that, right? That's all I remember. I remember I was so hungry and I was looking through like Grubhub or whatever, and it's like, oh, nothing's open.
There's McDonald's.
Yeah.
We got a tip for you. If you're ever in, this situation again, just get a couple spicy chickens or a Subway sandwich before the show, stash it somewhere, and then when you come back, it's there.
It's not a bad idea.
As a picky eater, I don't know if you're a picky eater, but I am. As a picky eater and someone who eats in weird times, it's really good to have just a spicy chicken laying around sometimes.
Spicy chicken at like midnight, though, doesn't that like just wreck you?
Yeah, but it don't hurt. Power out.
Well, that's the brutal side of like the touring world. Like you get done and like, by the time you start eating, it's like 11 midnight.
True.
And then you usually have, that night we were staying in the hotel, so that's a lot easier.
Yeah.
But if you eat the wrong thing at like midnight and the bus is moving all night and your stomach's dying, it's a bad thing.
It must get awkward when you're like, on the road with like professional people and then like the IBS hits. I mean, that's the reality of being on the road.
I'll totally tell you the goofiest story, which makes me sound like a goofball anyways, but it's funny. So whatever. So the first tour I'm ever on is like 2019 with Rob Thomas. And, I'm just getting into the touring world and like trying to figure everything out and, knowing the do's and don'ts. So, I ate some Oreos at like midnight, come like 4 a.m, the bus is going down the highway somewhere. I feel like, bad stuff is about to happen, and you're not allowed to like poop on the bus. I don't know if you guys know that, right?
You can't do
No
that.
pooping rule, yeah.
I also have
You
that.
guys never heard that?
Yeah. Go downstairs.
Well, you guys never heard of that?
No, we've
Like
heard of it.
No,
yeah.
I heard it's etiquette.
Yeah. Oh, it's just a no. You just don't do it. So I go up to the front of the bus and talk to the bus driver. I'm like, buddy, can you like please pull over to like the first side, first like truck stop that we see? And luckily there was one coming up there, and it saved the whole bus from.
Thank God.
Oh.
Yeah, it would have been bad.
Your
So I
whole
learned.
career may not be what it is today if you had just let her go.
Yeah, I'd probably be a legend in my own right.
Well, you are a legend, and I want to
No.
take a moment to just quickly let the Strange Crew know who we're talking to and why we're chatting today. So the Strange Crew, if you're watching today, we're so stoked to have Jim on. You probably recognize him a little bit from us, hanging out with him at the Doobie Brothers show. We met him there up in Moncton. That was so much fun. We had such a great time at the sound check and just hanging out, and it was such a music really truly does bring people together. And we caught up with Jim after the show. We said, look, we really want to interview you and just talk about your love of music, what you do, the bands that you work with. And just a few minutes before this call, we were talking a little bit about the tours that Jim's bought. Like you were just on with Sum 41. You've been doing so many different things with the Doobie Brothers, Blink 182. I mean, you were literally working with
20.
all of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
So I love that there's this like cross ecosystem realm happening, and like I'm so glad that we were able to get this happen. So for those that are listening and watching, can you tell the folks a little bit about yourself and how you got kind of started in photography and live shows?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a pretty crazy story. Like, it's like, so from like 2011 to like 2014ish, I was taking care of my aunt. She had Parkinson's.
Mm-hmm.
And it got really crazy and just like a lot of work and a lot of like, just that whole route of that crazy stuff. So there was one day where it was just really, really hard and she was having a rough day and, it was just going through it, the motions. And she's like, here, take my card, go buy a camera. Cause I know you love it. I want to like support you. Just go down to the camera store, don't spend too much, but get yourself a camera. So I go down and get a camera, have no idea what's going on. I start like watching YouTube videos and stuff like that, and just trying to figure out what like the buttons mean, which I still don't know half of like what half of it does. So, so I'm doing that. I get I'm taking pictures of like the trees and like clouds and stuff. I'm like, there's got to be more to this, So, fast forward to like the live music world. At the time, I'm going to a concert, with a couple friends, and basically it's like my favorite band. It's like Newfound Glory, and a band opening up for them called Turnstile, which like Turnstile is like one of the biggest bands in the world now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm just like, man, it'd be the coolest thing in the world if I could just like take photos tonight somehow, like I don't know anybody, like I don't know what to do. I don't know any, I don't know what you do for that. So I write Newfound Glory a message on Facebook. I don't expect them to see it, so obviously they didn't see it. I write Turnstile the same message, and they write me back saying, "Oh yeah, we'll help you out with the photo pass." And that just like, you go from the crowd to like, you're right in front of your favorite bands with your camera, and you're like, holy crap, like this is crazy. Like, what am I doing here? I don't even know how this camera works, let alone like, seeing like these people that like you've like went to shows forever watching, or like all of that. You just see them up close, and you're like, wow, this is so cool. And just from there on, I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna see how far I can take this. This is so fun, just every aspect of it is just so cool, especially like now, like this crazy world of it. But even when you're starting out, you're going to shows for free, you're getting into like, a band shares your picture on Instagram, you're like, holy crap, this is like crazy, like, just like the coolest things ever. And it just changed everything. It changed my whole life and the whole route of whatever I was doing. And my aunt passed away, and I got a really good camera after that, and I was just like, I'm just going to see how far this can go. And somehow.
What was her name?
Marilyn, my aunt Marilyn. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate Marilyn for taking some time and allocating that to you and your talents, right? My nan, Catherine, she's fantastic, and she also helped me kind of start my business. She believed in it. Like, here's just a little bit. It's not a lot, but it's something. And I believe in you, and I want you to see what else you can do with it. But it's up to you and your hustle that's going to actually make it work. It's not any more money or any more something or the best laptop. It's your work ethic that's going to make people want to have you with them, whether it be in boardrooms, behind the scenes, right? And I think that it's those people that really, I think, your work kind of says a lot now that I know a little bit more about it. And, hell yeah, Marilyn, right?
Yeah. It was crazy. It was, it was exactly what you said, like just that little push, and, you just it's huge, you just never know. And I try to tell people that all the time. Like, this is like a fake reality, all this stuff, I
think sometimes it can get really, convoluted when there's so many people maybe potentially taking photos or doing marketing, or it can seem that there's an oversaturation in the market. But I think that the people who choose to send messages, make sure that their assets look good and that they're ready to go and they're reliable, those are the ones that get those opportunities. And I think I would probably be answering the question, but I'd be curious to hear if you have any advice for people that are in that same boat where you were, like 2011, where you're thinking about going to see your favorite band and sending that message. Do you have any advice for anyone?
Yeah. So, I mean, that all started, I started taking care of my aunt like 2011. The photographer, like I didn't buy a camera till 2015. So, I've only been in this for like 9 years, but, I think, I always try to tell like whoever asks is like, it's like, you have to, I guess, take a cool picture or have a good eye or whatever like that. But it's more how you treat people and how you're like, how you are around people and how you build relationships. And, that's everything. You could be like the best photographer in the world and be a total douchebag and nobody wants you around him, Right. So it's kind of like, I've always just been the same. I'm just a normal guy that like, I love music. I love going to shows. I love that whole aspect my whole life. And then I got super lucky enough to get like, across the the threshold of like, wow, you're just standing there with like the people that you used to watch on stage, and now they know who you are. And it's really trippy,
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I
I'm
really
sure
love,
people-
like, about your story is around you just went ahead and sent a message, and that's back to
Yeah,
Kate's point. It's like literally you don't get what you don't ask for in
yeah,
a way, and I think especially starting out, like taking that initiative is so important, and I think that's like a big piece of advice that I think Kate and I both learned, and also just for anyone starting out in any industry is just reach out, as long as you're cool and you have the right approach. Like, you don't know what can happen, because like
yeah,
what happened to you, now you're on the road with the Doobie Brothers.
yeah. I know you guys love the Doobie. The Doobie story is totally crazy how I got set up with them, but I can share that with you if you want. But
Yes,
Yes,
we
like,
want to
yes,
know.
don't that don't.
I know you guys are Doobie fans, so so this is crazy. So maybe what year is it? It's I guess 2022, maybe, yeah, beginning of 2022. Uh I got a message from this guy on Facebook. He's he was just a friend. I didn't know he was a tour manager. So he's a tour manager of the band Buck Cherry.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, I want to hire you. We're going on tour with Alice Cooper. I want to hire you for a couple of dates, like, kind of like the 3, 4, and 5 show. They were like the kind of cities that were near me. So I was like, yeah, it'd be cool. I know who Buck Cherry is. Alice Cooper's cool. It'd be cool. So I see on the tour, I see they're starting in like Maryland, which like wasn't part of the plan, but I was just thinking, I was like, okay, well, this isn't that far. They're being nice enough to have me out later on the tour. Like, why don't I go to Maryland and shoot the first show for them? Because really, that's the show. That's like, I mean, you want something from the first night, like, hey, we're out here with Alice Cooper, whatever. So I write them. I'm like, hey, you know, like, I don't need any, I don't need paid for this or whatever, but like, why don't I come meet the guys and I'll shoot the show and just kind of, you know, whatever. It's a cool opportunity. He's like, yeah, that'd be great. Thank you so much. Blah, blah, blah. So I go shoot the show. Uh, it was really cool. They were great. I never seen Buck Cherry, but they're a great band. I sent him the pictures. He posted them on his Facebook that night saying, love these photos from our buddy Jim that came out tonight, blah, 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 something like that.
Oh, that's
Like
awesome.
5 minutes later, I got a message from Froggy, who you guys know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was. He just sent me he sent me a random Facebook message. He's like, hey, he's like, I really like your photos, and we're looking, I'm looking for a tour photographer for this tour coming up. So I'm like, oh, like, I don't know who this guy is, but he sent me a message, and he's like, I asked who it is, and he's like, oh, it's the Doobie Brothers. So I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, that's like, you know, at the time I knew the Doobie name. Obviously they have super famous songs, but I didn't know like the extent of like the Doobie Brothers, like, history or anything. But I just knew the name. I was like, wow, that'd be pretty cool. And I just started a relationship with Froggy, and he was like, all right, I'm going to take these to management and see what they say. But I think we might be, it might be a good thing. And then fast forward, and you know, uh, basically the whole tour, came from that Buck Cherry show. If I didn't do that first show, maybe Froggy never sees those pictures. Maybe I never meet the Doobies. Never.
It's like Wayne's World when he goes to try to make sure that he's in the right place at the right time, and he sees them in the limo, and he can bring them down to see Cassandra playing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think that is real, and we've had a number of guests who say that it's not about how good you are at what you do or
Yeah.
what it is that you do. It's about who you know and who might see that, and how you treat them when they see you. And if you're an asshole, people do not want to hang out with assholes, and they certainly don't want you on tour with them.
No, and
we
like,
deal with that. We deal with that with our corporate clients as well as our creative clients. And for us, it's just a matter of provide value, make people feel the experience a bit, and then that if you're easygoing, people want to make it work for you.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
I think that's awesome. I think that's so cool how the worlds kind of collide on that. And it's like, when you have someone who's like a winner, like who provides great stuff, I mean, you want them to come along even more. So by, taking that bite and saying, I want to come to that first show, a lot of people Cherie's going to deal with this in the marketing realm of things, even in the musicians and bands that we manage. It's that kind of complacent behavior. But if you're willing to stick your neck out a little bit and actually show that you care and that you know what is happening and that you're invested in it, people want people like that have that energy around.
Yeah, and that's how, like, you know, I treated the photo world kind of from when I started. Like I just treated it as like being in a band. Like I was in bands all my life when I was a younger kid, and you know, you're not making any money, but you're like getting to do this crazy thing where it's so much fun. So I just always treated this as like a band mentality. You know, if when I was starting out, I was getting like access to like a lot of big bands. Wasn't making really any money, maybe a little bit here and there, or whatever. But like you're still going and you're getting a free ticket and you're like getting all access with whoever or whatever. Right. I'm like, maybe this will pay off down the road. Like just do it while I can and just appreciate where I am and just kind of go with it. You know, just don't I don't know. It's
true. I also think too that like things have changed. I mean, back in the, early 70s, 80s, like when we were really experimenting with music videos and really having to evolve how bands were getting their name out and going on tour, you had to be on the road or else people didn't know who you were, right? Yeah. Now I find with live music photography specifically, it's actually utilized for a lot of the big ticket sales. And it's, they're relying on great photography from people just like you in order to sell out TD Station here in St. John. No, but it's true. It's not just to showcase what's happened, right? They're kind of using it as a sales tool. And I think, the way that some people do it, you can tell that it's very, salesy and overshot, and there's logos and watermarks everywhere. And then there's folks like you who just love to get out, go up to talk to people in the crowd while you're there. You don't just do your job. You do that above and beyond. And that's, if you're watching Strange Truth, that's how we met Jim. It was just, we were there, we were tagging, we were trying to figure out like who's in this kind of crew of people, who likes being here as much as we do. And that's how we met Jim and Froggy. And it was awesome. And it's so cool now over the past 6 months to have kept up the relationship, to have you guys on the show. And now full circle, you guys are going to be coming to St. John. So
that's sick.
I know how I'm really excited. I know I might seem like a nerd about it, but I'm really excited because I didn't know when we were going out again.
Well, it's your guys' hometown, right? I mean, like that's like you can
it's gonna be a banger. So you make sure you tell the whole crew, like, guys, I don't know if we're gonna make it out of St. John.
And it's the last night.
Therese and Kate have some wild plans ready to go. We'll take you for the best food. We'll take you for the best photos.
What's like the famous food spot there? Like, what do you guys eat?
We have a few places, but the St. John Ale House is really great. We have some like really great like farm to table type restaurants, like seasonal ingredients that come right here from like Atlantic, Canada, which is
lots of great seafood.
Lots of really great seafood.
Some good fish sticks.
Oh yeah, the best.
Best fish and chips.
Actually, world renowned, world famous chicken tenders.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. So haven't had tendies like these.
I mean, I'm going to Chick-fil-A when we get done. So I mean, that just says how.
Well, there you go, right? But no, we think it's so important that when people are going out and experiencing shows and stuff, that they're also trying to connect with photographers, with tour managers, because there's so much that people like all of us, if we hadn't found our people or our crew or those people that help give us those other opportunities, we might be sitting in jobs that we absolutely hate. And so we're always trying to find, if there's young people who need media passes or who want to write or anything, like we're always trying to elevate that. So that's a big part of what we do here at Strange Roofs. And I know, like, I see how hard you work. I see how hard, your work ethic comes through.
Thanks.
It's something like it energizes us whenever we're seeing your posts and stuff. Cause we just, there's the type of folks that, like you're shooting so much that you could get behind extremely quick. Right. But you're in real time and it's refreshing. And I think that that's an interesting way that you might actually get more busy. You might have to be really selective with where you're going and what you're doing, if not already.
Yeah. Sometimes it can be, you're not doing anything. And then sometimes it's like, oh, there's like 50 things, it's like,
What would be like your bucket list tour to be on right now if you could? And it could be, it might be past, and it can also be.
I mean, my favorite bands my whole life have been like Green Day and Blink-182. So those are the mountaintops, I would say. But like I've gotten to, I just went to Australia with Matchbox 20. I mean, that's the coolest. Yeah, it's insane. For just a dirtball from Pittsburgh. You can only dream of that kind of stuff. So, let alone the fly in there and like, up until that flight, I've only ever flown 2 hours. So it was pretty insane. Like the whole everything. It was just.
I always think it's funny too. Shreese might laugh at me, but like when our worlds collide in such a way, like we've had a number of episodes about Matchbox 20. And about like, Rob Thomas, and it had nothing to do. We have never gotten to see them. He's played here.
Really?
Yeah, we've never gotten to see them. We both love his music. We love him as an artist. But what's so funny is that we've had literal episodes where we're like, Matchbox 20 is one of the best bands you'll ever listen to. They have one of the best albums you'll ever listen to. And it's always me either going off about the Doobie Brothers, Steely Dan, Primus, or Matchbox 20.
That's crazy.
Or Bob Dylan. That's always in there.
Dylan,
that's a me thing. That's a me thing, though.
Gotcha, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and funny thing with Matchbox is like I've been so lucky that like Rob kind of brought me into this world of like the touring and like like I was doing the photo pass life and trying to shoot for publications and stuff like that from like 2015 to like 2019, and then like you reach like a point where you're like, all right, well, I just want to do more, but like the touring world was so hard to like break into just because, it's just hard. You got to like kind of get that like golden access or golden ticket where like, so-and-so wants to take you because everybody wants that because it's the next level. And I just felt like, oh man, I got to get to that point somehow. And Rob brought me, and Rob's like the nicest, all the Matchbox guys are basically the nicest guys ever. Like same with the Doobies. Nicest guys you could ever hope to, sometimes you hear about like, oh, don't meet your like heroes or don't meet your like favorite bands or anything like that. But like the Doobies, Matchbox 20, like those guys are like some of the nicest guys you could ever meet. And it just shows like, I think it just shows with their fans and like how they treat everybody. It's crazy. I don't even know what I was talking about, but I'm just blabbing.
I have a question for you that's sort of off the beaten path a little bit. What's really cool about being like a concert photographer or rock photographer is that, especially if you look back through like music history throughout the decades, like you're able to once in a blue moon capture like an iconic moment or like, a photo that becomes an album cover or, is on posters around, the decades later. Yeah. I'm wondering if, and it's cool if not, if you have any like photographers whose work you admire, like from the past, or I'm thinking, for example, like Mick Rock, Henry Diltz, those types of people, or like a photograph that's like iconic from like a live show that you're like, shit, like I wish I could have taken that.
There's definitely those, I don't know. So I know Chris Cafaro is really amazing. Like I met him a couple of years ago, and he just has like, he just has all these like photos of like band promo shots with like, Kurt and Nirvana and like, just like just stuff that you like I remember like seeing like in like magazines or like in a circus magazine, like those like whatever that concert magazine was. I think it was called Circus at the time. Yeah. But just where you see like these pictures and you're just like, oh man, like that's that dude's picture, like stuff like that. And I think the iconic the really cool shot of what is it, Freddie Mercury on stage with like the the whole pose, like black and white, where like it just doesn't even look real because it's like so amazing. And like they're shooting that in like film too. I couldn't even imagine. I don't even know. Like if you offered me like $10,000 to roll a camera of film, I don't even know what to do. Sadly, but
that comes later, as I found out. It comes like in your 50s and 60s, right? You get
I guess,
want to have a dark room, and I want to process them myself. And
that's a retirement hobby for sure.
Like late 30s. And then
I barely know what the digital camera does. Seriously, that's not a joke.
Hey, it's all about what you know, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But
I don't use every marketing tool out there. That's for sure.
Yeah, but like for like photographers and stuff, like I like, I see a lot of concert stuff, but like it's more like the stuff of like there's some photographers I follow that like shoot like what like they go into the waves and get like those crazy pictures of like surfers going through the water and stuff like that, and
that's
that stuff is amazing to me. Or like people that are like on like mountaintops shooting like the northern lights and like water, and I love that stuff. I like a lot of that stuff, and like there's so many good concert photographers I could list off. But
I mean, your stuff is very exactly what you explained. Like you're very much out into those like beautiful shots, and then also the same beautiful live capture shots.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of cool, and I'm excited to kind of see like where your work continues to evolve,
Thanks,
and where you're going to be, and what photos of St. John you're going to take.
Yeah, I've told some people that I'm like, don't just limit yourself to like, I want to be a concert photographer, like, or I want to be a blah blah blah, because it all kind of translates. Say if you go shoot a hockey game and you're shooting that fast motion and you're like the anticipation and all that stuff, like it leaks over into what other stuff you're gonna do. So, don't just limit yourself to like one style of photography. Know that you can like do this, or you can go out tonight and shoot the stars if you really want to, and that's a whole different world of photography. But knowing that you can do it is like pretty cool if like that moment's there.
Is there a style of photography, like it seems to be outdoors, like besides, like music photography is sort of your bread and butter, but is there like another subject matter that you would like to explore more?
Yeah, that ocean stuff. Yeah. Like I mean, obviously we don't, I don't live near the ocean or like blue water, so that kind of,
we'll hook you up.
Really, you can't really go swimming in Jersey Beach with a camera and getting cool wildlife pictures under the water. Right, but I would really love to do that. I really want to go to like Norway or like Iceland and get like those really crazy like northern light pictures. That'd be insane. I've been lucky to kind of do everything that I've like, like my only crazy mountaintop of like photos were like, I hope I can shoot a hockey game once for the NHL, like the Pittsburgh Penguins. I hope I can shoot Blink and Green Day once. Like that was the total mountaintop of when I started this. Like if I could just do that, it'd be like the coolest thing in the world. And that's all happened a bunch now. So it's pretty crazy. All this is like just icing,
Right. It's I'm curious about what you'll be doing like in 5, 10, 20 years, right? Because you'll have that, those same Nirvana type snapshots and things, right? Because these bands are doing this to provide legacy, to make sure that they have revenue coming into their family and things, right? And concerts and going out and experiences, people need them more than ever, especially after COVID, right? Yeah. And I know people in live music, whether it be venues, photographers, managers. I mean, it was a very rough few years, and now in marketing, a lot of these people, like they're coming to our company, and then on the PR side for strangers, it's so important just to kind of know what each other's doing. So I think the more that we kind of can share advice and know what's happening behind the scenes, it allows people to kind of get that behind the curtain view. And if we can share something that helps somebody get a photo pass, great. If we can meet someone else at a show, that's awesome. Because at the end of the day, like people are going through a lot of really hard shit and a lot of really cool shit in the same day sometimes. And it's hard not to feel crazy. And it's hard for people to know what to share and how to balance emotions without feeling absolutely insane. So I think music and going out to those shows for a lot of people, Sharice and I, we always joke when they say, how's everybody doing out there? A lot of people are like having barely got to the show. They're barely keeping it in, and so although it's a raw experience, it's actually quite like life-changing for so many. Yeah. So when we're at concerts and things, like when we were going around with the mic and stuff, just talking about why are you here? What makes you love this band? Why did you bring your best friend of 50 years? Yeah. And we see you do the same thing. Like you're you don't just take photos at the shows that you're hired for. You go up and you talk to fans. You ask them what made them want to come to the show. You actually make the experience more than just going to a concert. Right?
Or those upgrades.
Yeah, that was like so you for those listening, Jim gave my mom Queen Janice an upgrade, and like that's something she still talks about.
You better be careful putting the story out because she'll be looking for you.
Trust me.
She'll be at sound check this time. She'll be at sound check in St. John. So it's Michael McDonald in the band, but
yeah, that's like the coolest thing. That's like the coolest thing you could do for somebody, I think, because like, depending on who you are or whatever. Like, I remember going to shows with my mom and my sister, and my little brother. We'd all be sitting out in the grass, and because those are the tickets that you can kind of afford if you got like whatever. So like to go up to like just two random people or a couple random people and be like, hey, you want like third row tickets? It's like it's like everybody should do that.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah. And there's been, I've met so many people throughout the Doobie tour, Matchbox tour, Rob tours that like I've done that with, and like it's, it's just made friendships from there till now. Just people that are like so grateful, and it's such an easy thing to do, just to be nice and do that for somebody. But I think it goes overlooked, or just like a set list. Like I was at, we were just talking about that Noah Khan concert in Montreal. So I had two set lists that I had like some notes on where I wanted to like be for like taking pictures, blah blah blah. And like his fans are like pretty young, so I see this like kind of like teenage girl like picking up those leaves off the ground, that they shot out.
Yeah, the confetti at the end.
Well, she's, if you're trying to save the leaves from the concert, you're there. You're trying to like take home something. So I was like, hey, here, and I gave her the set list, and she's like, oh my, blah, blah, just freaked out. But I would do the same thing if I was leaving a Green Day concert and somebody gave me a Green Day set list. I'm like, holy shit, like, thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. So I think you just have to keep remembering that.
Happened to me a couple of weeks ago at Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know. I saw you guys were basically stage diving.
Yeah. That world, Strange Crew's on the move, right? So
getting yanked out. We were yanked out. Security,
out of the front row, mid show.
Oh, but you got to the stage though.
Oh yeah, but still, it was mind blowing.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean.
I got the Queens of the Stone Age set list, so I now have two of my favorite band set lists. So I'm pretty stoked.
And that's just like, I don't know. I think a lot of people have to remember that. Sometimes, like those set lists are just sitting around sometimes, and it would mean the whole world to give it to somebody out in the crowd. So I always try to grab like extra ones because, a lot of, the guys that are, doing their work and stuff like that, it's like, they're trying to tear down stuff, there's a whole rhythm to everything. So it's hard to just go out and just hand set lists to people or whatever. So, if I ever do that, if I ever see that, I'd grab some and I just go give it to people because I know it just means that much more. Yeah. And it's
a good person.
Yeah. Hey, just a dork, just trying to spread cheer or something.
Same here, man. That's what we're trying to do too.
Yeah.
And seriously, we are so happy that you were able to jump on and give us some time today.
Yeah, of course.
I know it's been a time trying to just get it locked down, but I think it's so funny that it's
you guys are so famous. I see it all the time. Like interviews and stuff like that. I'm like,
we'll have to get you on every week at this point. You blow up my ego.
I'm like, geez. I'm stoked you guys wanted me to come on.
Stop it. No, of course. Exactly. And we'll obviously we're going to be in touch about different spots we're going to be in case we can also see each other before October, right?
Yeah, is that the only Doobie show you guys are going to, or is it
so far? Yeah,
I think there's a lot to be released. I think the's a lot of shows to be released still.
We're trying to get two out in LA in July and September, so we're trying to keep the shows to a minimum.
The first night at the Forum, that's going to be pretty crazy.
Interesting,
right?
Interesting. Okay.
You guys see your brains turn. You're like, yeah, we could probably go to LA for the first.
We could probably do that. How it happens.
The first. See, just picture this. Hey, we went to the first night of the tour and the last night of the tour. There's your selling point.
Don't tempt us with a good time.
Please check the date.
Right? What is it? 23rd, I think. July 23rd is the first night. I think. I don't know. So there you go.
That's so
But-
funny.
That's so funny because we're
gonna be there July 9th through probably the 18th.
Oh, so what's 5 extra days in LA?
Like
You know,
$1,000.
I know,
I mean, yes. Like, how many more marketing packages do we need to sell?
so
We'll
for
get
this,
back to you.
yeah. So for those 5 extra days, just go stay out in like way far East California. You know, where good hotels like what $60-$70, and then you come back to LA for the last night.
Right.
Because LA hotels are crazy. I mean, I don't know how anybody
Oh,
can
they
afford
are.
to. Or just sleep on the beach. It's nice out. It'll be July. Just sleep on the beach. It'll be fine.
I mean, fair. Like, just being in California, even like if it's not in the LA area, would just be nice, you know, because it's California.
I know. Trust me, I'm the same way. I would be happy living in a shack out there, you know.
Facts.
But even those are like $9 million. So
Accurate.
yeah, it's like crap. Like I can just, I don't know. But
All right,
yeah,
Sharif, it's your time.
What's that?
Sharif, your
No?
question.
Oh, all right. I'm about to ruin your day.
All right,
This is a segment called Strange Solitary Sounds. So
Okay.
you are going to be locked in a room by yourself for an unknown period of time, and there's a record player in this room, and you're allowed to bring 3 records. What are those records and why?
Oh man. Jeez. So this is like you're just stuck in the room for who knows how long.
You don't
Could
know.
be forever.
It could be forever. We don't know.
All right. I'd probably say Blink Dude Ranch for sure. I mean it's one of my favorites. I'd say Green Day Dookie probably for sure. And probably Homegrown. This band called Homegrown, Act Your Age. Those are easily my top 3 favorite CDs of like my whole life.
Good answer.
But then there's like so many close ones that are, I don't know, or maybe like one of those like crazy like long, like 500-minute CDs that like just has so much so you don't get bored. But no, I want to listen to stuff I like. Yeah, I'm not gonna listen to like just random crap for.
True.
But you might like it. I don't know. What would your guys be? Let's reverse the rules. What would your top 3 be?
It's been a while since we've been asked, Kate. Do you want to go
Same.
first?
No, you can.
Oh, okay. I see what you're doing. Okay. First would be Bob Dylan, Blood on the Tracks. That's always there. So I can cry and be a sad bee. And then I would say T-Rex the Slider, because that is a very well-rounded rock and roll album. And next would be shit. I think and this has been its consistent pick of mine. It's kind of been switched out, but Led Zeppelin 3, because again, it's a very well-rounded Zeppelin album. Like it has the hard rock, it has some, hippy dippy shit on it, and I like it. So I think with those 3, it would be a solid. I would make it for a little while.
Sick.
For a little while.
Is it bad I've never heard of those first 2 bands?
First 2 bands? You ever heard of Bob
Crazy?
Dylan?
Oh, well, yeah. Okay, I've heard about it. Yeah. Okay. Maybe the second one. Sorry.
T-Rex.
Yeah.
Mark Bolan, Bang a Gong. Get it?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's T-Rex.
Okay, got it. Okay, so I do know that. Okay.
Underrated. So dive into him. Dive into
All right,
him more.
sick. I will.
I'd probably say Boston first album.
Oh man.
And I would probably say Asia Steely Dan. And then I'd probably go Frizzle Fry Primus.
I was gonna say, I'm like, it's gonna be Primus or a Queen's record. I was curious to see.
I was tossed up, but
All I know is My Name is Mood. I like that song.
So another Frog thing, noticed that he was just on the road with them too. And solved their gear issue. And I was like, how fucking cool is that? I love that. So
I'm convinced Froggy knows everybody.
Yeah, it seems that way. Yeah,
he's
going to see Primus in August.
He's a good dude too. I think. Did you guys interview him yet, or it's coming?
Not yet. He's next episode.
Sick. I'll watch that for sure. That'll be cool.
Well, thank you so much, seriously, for joining us today. I super appreciate it, and hopefully, maybe you'll be on again, and maybe you're in St. John.
I want to come to the couch. I want
yes,
we'll
have you on the couch.
Come to the couch.
Where, is that like a studio, or is that like your guys' house?
Kate's house.
Where you guys? So that's like in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
We'll sit on the
talk
iconic
about
couch.
The show, or maybe I'll just bring Mike McDonald. How cool would that be, right?
Don't, Kate.
I know you're a big Mike fan.
Huge.
He's the low key the nicest. I mean, all the Doobies are super nice. Mike's like the nicest guy you could ever hope to meet. You know, have you ever met him?
When I asked you that when we were at the show, I was worried because he does seem so nice, but he's been doing this forever. He plays, and obviously, like, I don't even want to talk to clients sometimes after if I'm just not re-energized. So I wondered if he was just like, like he's nice, but he's not like overly nice. And you're like, no, he's the nicest person you'll ever meet.
He's just
so that made me really happy.
He's genuinely like so. I mean, it's such a weird world where you're just in it, but just they all are. They're all like just there's no. Like these guys are like super legends.
Oh yeah, the Doobies live at the Greek. Me and Charisse watch that at least 3 times a year.
Yeah.
At least 3 times a year. It is one of the best things that was ever made in history. Was
great concert.
Is this on YouTube?
1983. Yeah, you can buy it on DVD as well. It's hit after hit after hit after hit.
I've looked at
what happens when you go to their shows too. It's just constant, right? And being a big Steely Dan fan, like. I haven't ever gotten to see them. And when Walter died a few years ago and not having like Michael McDonald on, there's really no point for me ever going to see them, which if Dan fans are listening, suck it up, buttercups. It's how I feel. Right. But at the end of the day, like seeing him it was a huge bucket list for me. I have so much respect for him and what he's done in the industry. We have another friend, Andy Morris, who just put on Mavis Staples' 85th birthday in LA, and Michael McDonald was playing the show. And we were invited to go, but we couldn't make it work. But he's just always lending time to amazing things. So I think that he is a super nice guy, as you say. So yeah, bring him by. No problem.
They all are.
He's got an invitation.
If I had all the power in the world, like I would that would be like such a cool thing just to be and like I wouldn't even like put it past them to do something like that. But it's just like it's one of those like weird lines of like just like come hang out at this podcast, but like but like you said, it you never know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've gotten so much just by asking. Like hey.
Yeah, we appreciate that, and we're really, really looking forward to the October show and
it's gonna be awesome.
And we're going to be in touch to see if there's any shows that you're going to be working throughout Canada that we can make it to, and vice versa. In the States, we'll let you know if we're going to stay in an extended stay in July. And and thank you guys
should just follow that whole route, the whole Canadian route.
Are they hiring? Because we can do some marketing. We can do some. We'll do it all.
You never know, right? Just pack up the van and
let's go.
Off we go.
Sick. Well, it's good to see you guys for sure.
Yes, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I think you froze.
I'm good though. I think I'm better.
There you are.
Okay. Yeah. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, kind sir, and thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Thank you guys for wanting to chat with me.
And until next time, Strange Crew,
keep it strange.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
If you've enjoyed this, then you have to hit strangegrooves.com for more amazing content. To support this podcast and music community, go to patreon.com/strangegrooves. As always, keep it strange.